So the Pelicans are doing something they been should have been doing in the last season, and that is playing their young guys, and you're finally starting to see a couple guys break through. So we're gonna break that down right now in the Pelicans Scoop. Cue my music.
This is the Pelicans Scoop with Jordan Kitchens, breaking down everything under the sun about your New Orleans Pelicans. Smash that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe to stay on top of your Pels content. Now, running point, here's Jordan.
What is good, YouTube? Welcome back to another edition of the Pelicans Scoop. I am your host with the most, Jordan Kitchens, and ladies and gentlemen, Victory Hoodies. Yes, the Pelicans have got their 21st win in March, damn near April, but 21-54, guys. That is the current record for your Pelicans, and that is definitely a far cry from 49 wins last year, the way they masqueraded, winning 49 wins. Like, that was, I mean, granted, 50 would have been a franchise record since there was the Hornets. It's been a very, very turmoil, up and down, I mean, whatever you want to say about this year. Finally down the home stretch, you finally can kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel. And damn it, that might be another train because the lottery is right around the corner and the season wanes on that, basically. But we're going to break all that down anyway. So further and furthermost, like I said, Victory Hoodies. The Pelicans won last night against another Cooper Flag merchant, the Charlotte Hornets, 98-94. I'm gonna be honest, guys, there's really not much you can take away from this game because, again, there was a team that they're depleted too. The Hornets have been, I mean, the Hornets have been the Hornets basically, but still no Brandon Miller, no LaMelo Ball. They're out for the season. I mean, another franchise that have been snake bitten, another franchise that is just a squalor. Just call it spade a spade. But, you know, you still was able to see the young guys. And that's what really should have been the main focus of this team moving forward, really since January. All right, when the season was, all hope has been lost for a while now. You should have been trying to play Antonio Reeves. And I do want to further say this. I do want to apologize for Keon Brooks because, again, I had no clue who this guy was. All right, let's call it. Like, apparently he's an undrafted rookie. He's been in Birmingham or whatever. So the Pelicans called him up basically his last 5 games. And I was like, man, who the hell is this? This guy, they putting this guy in over Antonio Reeves or whatever. But Keon Brooks has shown a lot. Matter of fact, he kind of hit the game winner last night. Jose drive to the paint, dive off to Keon Brooks, puts it in for the dunk, gets the Pelicans the win. Now, we could talk about the lottery and all that. What does this win really mean? But so I just want to give further an apology for not knowing who Keon Brooks was. Like I said, I didn't know who this guy was. He's been pretty much a pleasant surprise. Like, every game he's been playing, he hoops. He does the little things. He does the smart things. And that's why I find it truly hard to tank, basically. So if you're not going to come out and formally tank like the Utah Jazz, you know, just don't care about nothing, we'll get fined by the NBA, we don't care. We are doing everything in our power to get Cooper Flag. Also, the Jazz are tanking because OKC owns their picks. So at the same time, if you're not going to come out and do that, it's going to be kind of hard to lose this game. Unless you're going to be like the Washington Wizards, just playing their young guys. Well, that's all they have, these young guys, and you're really starting to see those guys, you know, mature, figure it out. You know, Sarr's been playing really well. I didn't give my praise to the Wizards, but the Pelicans are in I can say a terrible position, but they're in a weird position where a lot of the guys they do have playing, like I said, they're young guys and whatnot, but they're not under contract. So these guys are playing for their livelihoods. I mean, in like multiple years down the line, like Keon Brooks, JRE, Alfred Payton. Even though Alfred Payton's not a young guy, he's a proven NBA player. These guys are playing for their livelihoods. So Willie Green didn't coach the game yesterday. Maybe the Pelicans would have lost if Willie would have been here to help the tank. James Borrego came in there. You know, he was the former coach of the Charlotte Hornets. So he was going. Also, he's auditioning. So it's going to be hard. It's already been hard. I already said it before when we still had Zion and Trey playing, but it's going to be hard when you have these guys that are just giving it their all, and you can't blame them. This is not y'all's fault. This is what you're supposed to do. You're playing for your livelihoods. These guys are trying to play to earn contracts in the NBA. I'm not going to take that away from them, so I'm not going to get mad about getting a win. I'm not. All right? If this team wanted to really buy into the tank, they should have been did it. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, well, Zion's out. They're not going to lose these games. Like, when they play a good team, yes. But when they play another bottom-feeder squalor, the Pelicans are going to do what they do. Antonio Reeves is getting good quality minutes now. You know, Keon Brooks. So you're finally starting to see guys start to take the next step because they're finally getting minutes fed to them. Jordan Hawkins that played last night, and more of that back injury that he's had, back spasms. He has a very degenerate back issue that's going on, and we will see like how that will turn out. But you know, I still don't know what's going on with Brandon Boston Jr. Would like to know what's going on with Brandon Boston Jr. But other than that, like, you can't really take much from this game, and there really isn't much to analyze other than the Hornets are now way above you. I say way above you, but they have solidified their place in the lottery. The Pelicans are not going to get the number 1 pick odds, like the best odds to land the number 1 pick. I think it's like 14% or whatnot. But we done broken this down time and time again. Just because you have the worst record in the NBA does not mean that you will get the number 1 pick. Okay, just because you're sitting there, you done tanked all year, you done sat there and been booty cheeks all year, that does not guarantee you will get the number 1 pick or a top 3 pick. All right, we didn't see this time and time again. Yes, it can be like you can't fall below, but you also can't get the number 1 pick. The Atlanta Hawks were in the play-in game last year and ended up getting the number 1 pick. Okay, so look at the Detroit Pistons the last couple years. They were easily the worst team in basketball for like the last 2 to 3 years, and they did not get the number 1 pick. The last time I got the number 1 pick was Cade Cunningham. Other than that, they was getting Ron Holland, Sawyer Thompson. Granted, those things ended up working out in their favor. Sawyer Thompson's a baller. Ron Holland, we will see about him. Jaden Ivey, those guys like that. But they were also trying to tank to get the number 1 pick. So just because you're bad does not mean you will get rewarded. It's not the NFL. It's not all right, worst team get the no. You still got to go through this lottery. So that's why I'm like, yeah, the season's almost over, so you kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel. But at the same time, that could be a train coming to hit you. Because if you don't, I'm telling you, for the Pelicans, if you don't land a top 3 pick, you are in trouble. I will go with 4, top 4. I'm okay with 4. But if you're not getting a Cooper Flag, Dylan Harper, or Ace Bailey, you are in trouble. Because at the end of the day, we have to call a spade a spade. The Pelicans are a small market team. Small market teams, it's hard to be able to attract star talent. Like, that just is what it is. Unless you're obviously the Lakers, Miami, the Knicks. Like, even though back in the day, I say back then, even though the Knicks finally just started getting good again. But like Boston, Chicago, these big market teams, these big markets, those are the guys that's getting all the free agents. Like, nobody's really want to go out there and play in Milwaukee. We saw what happened with Dame. Dame didn't want to go out there. He wanted to go to Miami. Another one would be like Golden State. But at the same time, if you're not one of those bigger market teams and to be able to attract free agents, you have to have a guy that people want to play with. Simple as that. Same way that De'Aaron Fox wanted to leave the Kings. The Kings ain't, the cream of the crop. He wanted to leave the Kings and go play for the Spurs. Winning organization, historically winning organization, and they have a generational talent in Victor Wembanyama. We're going to see with his injuries and how all that plays out, in the future, but he wanted to go play at Wemby. You have to have a guy that people want to go play with. Anthony Edwards is in Minnesota. Who the hell wants to go play in Minnesota? But I promise you, there's going to be some guys coming up in free agent like, I want to go play with Ant. Like, I see what Ant has going on. I want to go play with Ant. Cade Cunningham in Detroit. Again, these are not disses to these cities, but Detroit, it's cold. It's Detroit. But they have Cade Cunningham starting to build kind of a winning culture. I want to go play for them. Cleveland. Nobody wants to go play for Cleveland, but now they got Donovan Mitchell, Mobley, Garland. They're building something. They're winning. Winning cures all. So if you're winning, guys will want to go play for you. So the Pelicans are below in both those categories. You don't really have a guy people want to come play with. Yeah, you have Zion, but is Zion going to be healthy? Like, nobody knows. He's a wild card. So, but if Zion was able to put a couple years together where it's like, oh no, Pelicans are building something, I want to go play with these guys. That's where it was for a little bit. CJ McCollum. That's why CJ wanted to ultimately come play with the Pelicans. He's like, oh, Brandon Ingram, Zion, they got these young guys. I'm going to go play with them. Now we see what it ended up deteriorating to be. Really wasn't much, but that's the idea. If you're not one of these bigger markets, you got to have guys that people want to play with. Simple as that. So the Pelicans are in a position where you kind of got to hit in the draft. You're not going to grab these needle-moving talents as free agents. So that's why in the draft, that's why it is important that they probably should be losing. And it is important that they probably should be bettering their odds to land like a Cooper Flag, a Dylan Harper's. Needle-moving guys that can sit there and change the franchise. Granted, I'm just saying that. We don't know. These guys can all come in and be bust. We don't know. All right? But it's all just speculation. That's why I'm saying that could be a train by to hit you. You get stuck like the 5th pick, the 6th, 7th pick. That season was a failure. It's already been a failure, but it was even a double failure. So I get it. I see both sides. Trust me, guys. I see both sides of the fan base. I get it. Trust me, I do get it. But at the same time, it is not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed. Look, the Pelicans, their schedule down the stretch is a gauntlet. It's a lot of playoff teams, so I'm not going to sit there and say, like, the Pelicans, like, if they win out. But at the same time, just keep this in mind. The Atlanta Hawks had 36 wins last year and got the number 1 pick. It is anybody's ball game. Truthfully. Like, Adam Silver didn't change the odds. Like, it's anybody's ball game. So that's why the Pelicans are in a position where either they can get hit really good or it might be really, really bad. And again, you also are in a position where you're not going to be able to really grab anybody. All right, a couple free agents, they're going to pick different teams. They head coaches. Like, it's the little things that this team is not executing that I guess you can say it has built over time into the bigger problem. Y'all jump in the comments, man. Y'all let me know what's going on. Does this team have a direction? I don't think this team has a direction at all. I don't know. I've been dropped the video. If you haven't seen it, go listen to my last video where Willie Green was giving his comments after practice. And he basically was like, he has no control of who plays and who doesn't. He just coaches the team. He has no control of, all right, well, this guy is going to play 30 minutes. Willie Green has nothing to do. He's not even in the meetings. He's not even in the meetings, so he has no idea. These are orders coming down from Griff, and I guess you could say Bryson Graham, little token. But other than that, it ain't much. It ain't much. It ain't much. So y'all let me know down in the comments, what do you guys think? Does this team have any direction? If you want to talk about the win, you want to talk about these new young guys, Keon Brooks, Antonio Reeves, y'all just let me know. We're just trying to figure something out, guys. We only got 8 more of these games left, and then we got an off season of just speculation. So y'all let me know down in the comments, man. Enjoy y'all Mondays, man. And I'm signing off. Peace.